Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Garrison, and I want to welcome you to day 10 of the 11 days of global unity that Humanity Rising and 11 Days and We the World and the Sign Network and scores of other organizations worldwide are convening in this bridge between September 11th, known around the world as 9/11, the day of the bombing of the World Trade Towers and the Pentagon, and September 21st, which is tomorrow, which is the International Day of Peace. And starting in 2004, 11 Days of Global Unity and We the World have been convening these 11 days as an opportunity to commemorate, to contemplate, and to dedicate ourselves to extricating the world from this obsession we have with violence and destructiveness and killing one another and all kinds of violence in the world, to a world that is dedicated to peace, dedicated to well-being, dedicated to compassion and caring and harmony with nature. Today, we're going to take up the theme of disarmament. And as we do that, I feel that we need to enter into a deeper layer of 9/11. We described on the actual anniversary, the 20th anniversary, what sort of physically happened during that day and different days since then. We've been looking at human rights. We've been looking at national security. We look at the rising authoritarianism. Today, I want to look at the soft but toxic underbelly of 9/11. The reports by police officers and bystanders after the planes had hit the two towers, that there was detonations inside the buildings that caused the buildings, as you know, to just collapse on top of themselves like buildings do when they're intentionally detonated from inside. There's also the total mystery of building number 7 that was across the street that was not hit in any way. And it collapsed in the same manner, giving rise to all kinds of speculation that there was some kind of collusion between Al-Qaeda and forces inside the US intelligence and military and civilian community that was making this a tragedy beyond what the planes crashing into the buildings at very high levels of those buildings would have compelled. Just a few days ago, there were photographs surfacing of Israeli Mossad intelligence officers on the rooftop of a building in New Jersey that were there filming when the planes hit the trade towers. And as you know from Michael Moore's documentary on 9/11, the Israeli embassy told Israeli nationals to stay away from the World Trade Tower on that day. So as we contemplate 9/11, let us also contemplate the collusion that is indicated by the evidence as having taken place in an event that served a multiplicity of purposes. On the Al-Qaeda end, revenge for what the United States had been doing in the Middle East, but also with the neoconservatives at the helm of the US government in the administration of George Bush Jr., the need for a pretext to go to war, the need for an occasion that would allow the passage of the Patriot Act. It was all very convenient for a multiplicity of actors. This memory of 9/11 takes on a particular toxicity when one reflects just very briefly on the withdrawal of the United States military from Afghanistan just a month ago. An extraordinary turn of events. The US military left intentionally thousands of weapons and munitions that were picked up by the Taliban. Why would they do that? After fighting them for 20 years, why would the United States leave them thousands of weapons? Well, the obvious answer is that they wanted them to use them, see how good they are, so that the US can begin selling weapons to the Taliban. I raise these issues about 9/11 because it's very important for us to take into our vitals, as Carl Jung would put it, the evil, the cynicism, I would say almost the depravity of what goes on in the human psyche at war. And I think only if we take in the depth of what we're dealing with here, that the enemy is without, but the enemy is also within, that we come to terms with the challenge before the world as we seek, as Chekhov said so famously, drop by drop to squeeze the slave out of ourselves. And today we want to really look at what that means to disarm. What do we have to do in our own psyches and souls to get to such a place that we do the most obvious thing human beings should do in the face of the other, and that is to lay down our arms and not collude for more violence and perpetual war for the profit of the munitions makers. So those are some of the issues on our penultimate day that I wanted to just lay out for our collective contemplation. Who knows, like the Kennedy assassination and other great events, who knows what really happened? But there are a lot of indications, at a minimum, that complexities and multiplicity of actors and layers of agendas were operative. As Shakespeare said, no great act was ever done with a single motive. So let us pause, as we do every day on Humanity Rising, as we take in these weighty matters of great gravitas in our world, these challenges emanating out of the chaos of war and climate and social dislocation. Let us just take a moment and let us center ourselves in our bodies. Take a breath, close your eyes, and place your attention on your heart. And listen to your heartbeat just for a minute or two, in a spirit of gratitude and deep thanksgiving that you're alive at this most extraordinary moment in the human journey. And send love. Just send love to those you know and to all sentient beings. Thank you, everyone. Now, with an open heart and a heart full of gratitude and love for each and every one of you joining our program today, I want to turn the podium over to Rick Ulfik, my good friend and colleague for many years, the co-founder of 11 Days and the founder of We the World, who since 2004 has been bridging this gap between 9/11 and the International Day of Peace. So on this 10th and penultimate day, Rick, welcome. And thank you so much for the partnership that's made this possible.
Thank you too, Jim. This has been really great. And I think it's interesting that you brought up what some people call a conspiracy theory about 9/11. And I think it's interesting because, you know, I've had some talks with people, especially one of the main leaders of the 9/11 Truth Group in New York City. And, you know, I have no way to know whether it's true or not true. But what I said to him was, you know, whether that interpretation of events is true or not, don't we all have to continue to do what we're doing, this same work for peace, justice, sustainability, and transformation? You know, he totally agreed. And I was so happy to sort of bridge that gap in a way. And I think it's important, you know, some people can get caught up in it on one side or the other, but the main point really is to keep this going. What we're doing now is so important for all of these areas, the environment, disarmament, like we're talking about today, and all of the 11 campaigns. So I just want to make that comment. And in general, I want to thank you, Jim, and Rick Buckley, along with Ubiquity University and Humanity Rising, for broadcasting all of these 11 Days of Global Unity Summit panels, and for offering master's degree scholarships in peace and tolerance, as well as regenerative action for our volunteers, all in honor of our dear friend Avon Madison, who we had a tribute for, a huge tribute with many people getting involved. You know, she was instrumental in getting the International Day of Peace declared as a resolution by the UN 40 years ago this month, in 1981. So all of these scholarships, you know, we all appreciate that. And, you know, just to let you know who I am, as Jim said, my name is Rick Ulfik. I'm the founder of We the World and the We campaign at we.net. And I'm the co-creator of 11 Days of Global Unity with my dear friend, Troy Lush. And as Jim pointed out, this is our 17th anniversary of doing this. It's been amazing. So you can find out about all of the 11 Days of Global Unity broadcasts and events by going to we.net. And we invite you to collaborate with us as a volunteer or an organization partner as well. Just go to we.net. Okay, so let's announce today's scholarship award winners. And Jim, could you give an overview of these scholarships that we're awarding to We the World's change agents?
Sure. Thank you, Rick. And I couldn't agree with you more. Whatever the originating storyline of these great acts of violence, our job as the progressive movement, as the light carriers in the spirit of Avon Madison, need to just work tirelessly to bring light into the world in whatever way that we can. I think one of the important aspects of understanding the complexities of what went on with 9/11 is it inhibits us from this reactive enemy formation, it's all their fault, whoever the other is, by coming to terms with the reality that in some deep way, all of us were involved in that event, either by omission or commission, just paying our taxes into the war machines, being caught up in the emotions around 9/11 and seeking vengeance. If we bear in mind that both sides are caught up with it and that it's an event that comes out of the field for which we are all responsible in some way, that there's no real neutral ground. If you think about the interconnected web of life, all of us are co-originating in some fundamental conscious or unconscious way what emerges into history. It redoubles the need for people like you, organizations like 11 Days and We the World and Pathways to Peace and all of our organizations, like dropping stones in the pond, and those reverberations go out around the entire expanse of water, which is the web of life. So I couldn't agree with you more that the impulse actually deepens when one honors the complexity and knows that we are in a very multi-leveled world with many intentions, many actors, and many agendas that are being played out. And one of our agendas is to educate people as a university in regeneration in the face of Code Red, and the fact that we are now in the climate tipping point, and to provide learning for tolerance and peace. For us, regenerating the world and working for peace are two sides of the same coin, because you can't do one without the other. And so our masters in regenerative action and our masters in tolerance and peace studies have been offered to 11 Days and to people around the world, so that if anybody is interested in taking advantage of these programs, please let Rick know or me know. We have an honor system where you pay what you can for the learning that you require. But on this particular occasion, we wanted to give full scholarships to 11 people that Rick and his colleagues would select among the 11 Days We the World staff. And I have to say, everyone, the scholarships that have been awarded over the last 10 days have been stellar, and to people all over the planet. So when we start the cohort, it's going to be an amazing community. It's going to be a rainbow community, Rick. And so I just want to acknowledge, you're into all kinds of nooks and crannies, my friend, out there on around this beautiful world of ours. But they're all in honor of Avon Madison in this particular instance. So I just want to salute Avon and the purity with which she's lived her life that has illuminated and inspired so many people around the world.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Yes. So thank you, Jim. And this is a great offering from Ubiquity University. And so let's bring on the first of our awardees. This is Tumani Faso, who leads the We Change Agent Network, our branch of We the World in Tanzania. He has a Bachelor of Arts in Education and volunteers with Roots and Shoots Tanzania. He is a climate change activist, environmental activist, and he is an African community leader and a zero waste ambassador. Congratulations on the scholarship and welcome to the broadcast, Tumani Faso.
Hi, thank you very much.
Good
My
to
name
see
is
you.
Tumaini. Happy to see you too, and happy to be awarded the scholarship from Ubiquity University. Okay, let's start. My name is Tumaini. I'm very happy to meet nice people. I used to call Papa Rick and Mama Jana. So they are very friend of mine since when we meet, but also happy to see and to be with the Jimmy. I've been with you since we started this session, and I learn a lot of things from you, and very interesting on what we are trying to achieve as a youth, but also very important as a youth who lead to peace for the community across the border. So very happy.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the things that you're doing in Tanzania?
Yes, it will be very nice. I have been starting to work on issues of peace and sustainable development since when I was a kid. I do remember the first rally on Peace Day 2005. I was a very little boy, and I do remember I was on my way to school, and I met with a group from Roots and Shoots. From there is when I started to join the group. I was very little but very young. I joined them. We walk and we attempt many activities. So from there, I started to be interested since when I was a kid. So from there up to now, let us go to 5 years back. I've been leading groups of youths on how we can celebrate Peace Day. But 3 years back, I started to think, why should we celebrate Peace Day while people are suffering? So from there, I started to think different things on how we can make people celebrate Peace Day with relating to the climate change issues. How can we combine climate change mitigation we have been doing for long periods relating with peace? So we start to formulate groups of women's, youth, kids, to tell them the importance of first to conserve environment, but also to relate with peace. But also when we are talking about climate change, what are they relating with peace? So have been working with youths, with the kids, but also with a group of women like widows. So all of them we involve in environmental action, but also we want them to know what we are doing are leading to provide the peace to the community, to the peace to the society. But 2 years from now, 2 years ago, I discover many people have no opportunity to express their feeling, what they know. So we start to think on connecting peace to youths, but also to impact issues of freedom. If we don't have a freedom, we cannot achieve a peace. If we don't have a freedom, we cannot achieve sustainable development. If we don't have a freedom, we cannot achieve all things we are fighting. So in order to be success in our projects, in our activity, we wish to empower, and we are now empowering them a freedom power to speak, to express themselves. This will help us to bring a solution from what they believe. So I've been working with the student in primary school. I've been working with the student in colleges, but also with the other groups of people who are, we can say, are in a difficult condition to reach access. For example, you can take issues of pandemic, what's going on there in COVID-19. This break the peace of the people. So we should give them information. And from there, what bring me in a way live in giving information, people to get information, but also we believe in people to be involved on solving a problem, and lastly to take action. So what's very interesting in a way, since we started a chapter in Tanzania, we have been giving those 3 pillars on how we can reach the goals to environmental action, but also to peace. So those things we have been working to the group of women, to the groups of youth, but also we believe if we don't work to the kids, it means we don't work for the future generation. Work also for the future generation. And these activities have been take a lot of my time since when I was a kid up to now, and I'm enjoying it to work with those group of people to reach the goals of peace.
Okay, that's really wonderful, Tumani. And you mentioned Mama Jana, and I wonder if Mama Jana could turn on her video, because I want to acknowledge and would like to just publicly acknowledge that Mama Jana has been connecting with all of our We Change Agent Network branches in all of these different countries. And you want to just have a little dialogue with Tumani before we go on to our next award recipient? Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, they call me Mama Jana, and because I'm like a mother hen, and I like your name, Papa Rick, and we're gonna remember that one. But hi, Tumani. I'm so proud of you, and so pleased that
Thank you.
Received this scholarship. I just love working with him. He's new, but he's started strong. And I met him at a webinar I was invited to speak at with Mother Earth Project. And he was one of the webinar attendees. And so DDA was also there and had me speak. And I talked about We the World, of course, because that's what I love to talk about. And Tumani was one of the people that contacted me. And I said, well, you have to join. So he did. He went through the process. And I went to Tumani to talk about what he just did this past, I think it was this past weekend with a cleanup project. Do you want to talk about that, Tumani? He gathered a whole bunch of people together, volunteers.
Last week on Saturday, we conduct a very beautiful cleanup, and I've been doing this cleanup for almost 2 or 1 year since I started issues of zero waste. In last year, we met with a group of people, but what is very interested, and I'm very happy with it, with the world we are growing. I took two very beautiful young boys and kids and girl come to me, sir, we want to join you. We want to be part of We. I told them why. We like. Okay, so you are most welcome. So even today we have been with them I've been conducting week on Peace Day, to which end tomorrow. We have been with them, and they try to advocating importance of peace to their fellow students. So they are good ambassador to We as a We. So we the world as a family in Tanzania, we are very proud with the cleanup because it's bring 2 young people who are expecting to end their study in secondary school this year. So we are growing, and if today session was we try to project our General Secretary, UN. So we send the message to them and we translate that message into Swahili. So we are still growing, and we found a lot of things during cleanup. And I hope Mama Jana will share with you some photo and other activities we are doing in Tanzania. So very enjoyable. You're most welcome in our country.
Yeah, Mama Jana has to figure out how the technology part of what I do next with that. Mama Jana's not so good at tech, but I really do enjoy meeting people, and it's just so much fun. And I have to say, there's a whole lot of spirit of activism in Africa. Pretty remarkable people that I've met. So
Exactly. Wow. So thank you. That's so wonderful, Tumani. It's great to hear and see you again. And please call me Papa Rick anytime.
I'm very interested, Tumani, that you're...
Jimmy,
Go ahead, Tumani.
And Jimmy will call Evie Babu Jimmy because he's a healthier than you, so he will be Babu Jimmy. So you are Papa Ricky, Jana is Mama Jana, and Ricky is Babu Ricky, Babu Jimmy.
Babu Jimmy. So, and what were you going to say, Jim?
Well, I just love it, Tumani, that you're also working with Roots and Shoots and Jane Goodall, you know, because she originated in your part of the world with the Gombe National Reserve. And so for you to be working with the young people that have come out of Jane's work is a beautiful thing, in addition to We the World and so forth. So I just wanted to acknowledge that connection with Jane Goodall. Beautiful, really beautiful.
Yeah, and you know, it's worth mentioning that Jane's work with the Gombe Preserve, you know, I've talked to her about this. It made a change in her life, and it's such an interesting kind of lesson in terms of the interconnection of all of these themes that we're talking about this week with the 11 Days of Global Unity and 11 Campaigns to Change the World. Jane was, as you know, as everybody knows, she was originally focused on the chimpanzees and saving them, studying with them, living with them, understanding their culture. And she had all this groundbreaking knowledge that changed the course of scientific understanding of primates on the planet. And then there was the wars that broke out, I guess, in the Congo, and all these refugees streamed into the Gombe Preserve, and they were cutting down the trees and killing the chimps and everything. And Jane realized, in order to save her wonderful, precious chimps, she had to address what was going on, the war and the people involved with that. And she made this shift, and she became a messenger for peace at the UN. And then, of course, starting the youth program in Roots and Shoots. And anyway, it connects all of these things: disarmament, peace, health, human rights, environment, all of these things. So I just thought it was interesting to bring that up since you mentioned Jane. And, you know, Roots and Shoots has been a strong partner, and Jane also, of We the World and the 11 Days. When we started 11 Days in 2004, Jane Goodall came from Washington to New York City and brought her entire team, 14 people, to kick off 11 Days. And she gave a keynote address along with Marianne Williamson. But then all of the Roots and Shoots organizations made and flew their peace doves on September 21st in, I think, 125 cities around the world to launch 11 Days. And they're still doing that. Every year they make peace doves and fly peace doves for the International Day of Peace. So just thought people might be interested in that. So
sorry, Papa Ricky.
Yes.
Sorry. Even in Tanzania now almost 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we have running very, very strong different activities concerning with the peace activities with Roots and Shoots. Even today, I've been with a webinar on the contribution of can be played with youth in bringing peace. But all clubs around the country, we are talking about peace, and we hang doves. Yeah, I will share some photo with the Mama Jana. We have a doves even in my area. We try to use local to show how we appreciate work on for our messenger, Dr. Jane, but also to show the world the peace should be started with the kids. We cannot build a peace with the elder peoples only. We should build a peace with the young people kids and a group of very little girls and boys in order to raise doves. So not only in the US, but even in Africa, across the Africa continent, we still raise up doves to show people we are still believe in peace. Thank you.
Exactly, exactly.
Beautiful.
And I'll never forget back in 2004, they had this giant peace dove that they that they created. It was I don't know, like 20 feet across or something like that, and multiple people had to hold it and it kind of flew across this room. We had 500 people there for the launch of 11 days, and so and they do it every year, and that's great, Tumani, that it's still happening. That's wonderful. So let's go on to our next scholarship award recipient, and that is Lanny Smith. Lanny Smith, better known as Earthman, is an award-winning songwriter, performing artist, and he is also a North American Environmental Educator of the Year. He founded the Earthman Project in 1995 as a nonprofit organization strategically using music and the arts to educate, activate, and inspire youth and adults to become part of the solution to the challenges we face. Lanny Smith and his supporters believe music and the arts make a huge difference in touching hearts and minds. And Lanny has been a regular participant in We the World activities and a wonderful partner and collaborator. So welcome to the broadcast and congratulations on receiving the scholarship, Lanny Smith.
Oh, thank you. Namaste, everybody on the screen and around the world today. I wish peace be with you in every breath. And thank you so much. I look forward to learning more about the scholarship and what it, how I can be a part of Ubiquity University and participate. Ubiquity. Okay, I took my glasses off, so it's kind of hard to see. I could have said Blur University, and it would have been the same thing as in the moment. But yes, this is wonderful, and wow, peace. I have a lot of different feelings about the word peace because it is both a verb and a noun. In all my years of teaching and going out and teaching about peace, I have come to the conclusion in this moment in time that the climate change, which is part of the whole piece, the climate change that needs to happen is the one between humanity and the earth, that changing of climate, that creating peace between humans and our planet. And the climate change that needs to happen to create peace between humans and each other. One is so interlinked to the other. And I've discovered for myself that the way I used to teach peace, and it was a word that nobody could really put their hand on. You know, how do you get that? But so many of us are now teaching kindness as a way to peace. Because if you take the act of kindness, you're going to feel the joy of not only peace, but of love and of hope. And compassion. And these are the things that will bring us to the next place. Peace is an internal process, my friends. We need to come to it here ultimately. And then as we all become more peaceful, become more giving and loving and kind, that will spread to the next person who spreads to the next person. I can go out and, as I have in the past, protest nuclear weapons and done lots of different actions. but not very peaceful in here. And it came, in some ways, it came out of, although a great deal of love, it also came out of a great deal of fear. And fear is a real disruptor to getting us to love and peace. Trust, understanding, forgiving ourselves and forgiving others, and letting go of the past, because the past doesn't exist anymore. And the future isn't here either. So in this moment, we must find within our souls and in our hearts the love for ourselves and the healing for ourselves. And ultimately, that will bring the healing to all. As Rick was saying, and I appreciate Rick and Jana and all of you for what you have been accomplishing and the mission that you've put out there. It is needed. And I've spent my life in music and the arts because I realized the most powerful thing about music especially is that, man, it goes right into your heart and then to your mind. And you know, from the great songs from Paul McCartney and John Lennon to so many others that have sung at Peter, Paul and Mary, Joan Baez, I mean, and hundreds and thousands and millions of musicians around the world who sing and speak, but will never be heard on anything greater than maybe a Zoom conference call. We are moving souls, and we pray in what we do that it will be heard, and that peace will come here. And then the next piece, PIECE, is to educate and activate yourself to become part of the solution. I told millions of folks in my concerts that, you know, you got to educate yourself because knowledge is power. You have to understand what the problem is and the solutions so that we can create them. But if you're the smartest person or the most educated person on the planet and you sit on the couch and do nothing, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The truth is you have to activate yourself to become part of the solution then and get involved with groups like we or Ubiquity University or Roots and Shoots or the thousands and multi-thousands of organizations that are out there that are like the rest of us praying and working to create something better for us and our kids, our children, all of them out there. So the web is such a great thing when we can handle it. So that we can talk to Tumani over there in Africa, my brother. Good to hear from you out there. And Jim, wherever Jim is, and Rick B, and Rick in New York, and Jana, and all the folks out there. And Callum has been doing so much work on this stuff. Stanley, who I don't know, but I look forward to. So what I want to share with you is a couple of my original music videos, which will speak to what we've been talking about here. The first one just happens to be about 9/11. I was in New York and met and connected with Rick and Robert, and we had a wonderful time in the city. And I spent a month there working on several strategies. One of them being to connect with the late night talk show hosts, Colbert, Trevor Noah, Seth Meyers, and to discuss with them standing together as a unified comic front and having one night during this whole discussion on climate legislation where they would talk at the same time they would talk about where we are with climate change, the solutions, both economic and physical solutions, plus talking about how we let the coal miners, their families, and the oil workers and their families know that we are as passionate to take care of them as the transition happens as we are to save the planet, because they help build our country. Their families going back to the Industrial Revolution. We are here because of oil and petroleum, and that's okay. I don't want to shed blame on anybody, but now we understand the damage that it's doing to us at the right moment, when we have the creativity and technology and the ability to create solutions that will lift everybody up. So I want that discussion needs to be held. And then finally, to talk about activism and asking their 1.6 to 2 million viewers at night to pick up the phone and start calling. And respectfully, and I say that, I'm in Texas with Ted Cruz, and when I call his office, I do it with deep respect for him, because there's no sense coming out of anger. I'm coming out of love for him, his kids, for the kids of Texas, and it's important that we do it that way. But so I wasn't able to actually meet with Trevor Noah or Seth Meyers or Colbert, but I had been to all their studios, and I have a beautiful, I don't know if anybody knows, but Earthman, they call me the Earthman because part of my theatrical concerts, I put on this beautiful earth that I have that Rick got a chance to wear. And I put on a blues hat and blues glasses, and I become the Earthman Blues Man, because I got the blues living on this planet right now. So I went, it's colorful, I'm in New York, you stand out. And I in the poster that I have, which has Earthman on it, pointing his finger toward, back then it was a compact fluorescent light bulb, and asking everybody in Dade County, Miami, to change their light bulbs. And there was a big program with the government down there that I collaborated with. And those posters were on 500 buses and trains for a year down there. So I wrote a note on them, thanking them for their, bringing laughter during this very hard COVID year. And then I put in a handwritten note, not handwritten, but typed out on the computer, note describing the strategy of the late night hosts coming together. Well, lo and behold, and then I had to come back because I hurt my knee. Well, lo and behold, last Thursday, CNN, I opened it up and it says, comics unifying for a climate night next Wednesday, all of them. And it was put together by Trevor Noah's producer, who certainly would have seen what I dropped off. And some friends said to me, well, we're really ticked off because they're not giving you credit or whatever. And I said, forget that. As long as they're doing it, that's the point. That's the point. I'm an entertainer. I would have loved to go on and done the Earthman Blues on Colbert or Jimmy Fallon or any of them as part of that. But it's maybe that'll happen down the road. But the most important thing is that we try and we creatively work towards getting to people with ideas that can help them move forward. So I'm real pleased about that. And while I was in New York, I went to the World Trade Center. And I felt about what could I do in order to help people not only remember the loss, but the bravery of all those that ran in the building, the bravery of all those volunteers who came down there to dig for days looking for folks who were alive, and the hope for a better tomorrow. And I took a song of mine called Love's Gonna Win, because I believe in the end, love's going to win, and added it to a journey of pictures to tell the story of 9/11. And since then, I have gotten beautiful emails from the head chef at the top of the tower, the restaurant that was at the top. He was walking on his way to work when it happened, and he lost everybody he knows.
That was Windows on the World.
Windows on the World.
And
That's right.
I have performed in there.
You have
I did a gig in that place.
really.
And so
Hopefully not in the last
no,
20 years. Okay.
no.
The COO of the largest chain of hospitals in New York, the Presbyterian Hospital, wrote me a note, and she said, "I'm going to share this with everybody." She thanked me. It really reached her. So we all have the power to do something to share. So I want to share this with you. It's 2 minutes, and I'm going to go to share. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, there you are. Okay, share screen. And I already put on share sound, so you'll be able to hear it. Optimize for video clip. Okay. And then I'm going, I guess I'm desktop 1. Let me see if it does. You tell me when you
click on the one that you see that shows the screen that you want to share. That's a Zoom's kind of changed. So you have to actually click on the screen that you want to share.
Okay, it took me to security and privacy, but let me go back to where we were. Let Rick peacefully talk me through it. What I see on mine is desktop 1, whiteboard, iPhone, Google Chrome, unknown.
You should see the picture of your
your
video, and then just click on that.
I wish I did. Let's go to advance. I just want to get to my screen, and then I could just put it on from there. And let me just try this. Okay, so it's asking me to approve something. Janet, can you sing us a song while we're doing the technical stuff, since you are on technology?
Believe me, you do not want to hear me sing.
Let there be peace on earth.
Well, okay, I could try that. I'm stopping there.
Oh,
Well, I always wanted to say, while he's looking for this tech stuff, is that when I invited Earthman to be a part of this, because I wanted, Lanny's been doing a lot of work, just years of it. And he's always dedicated. And I wanted people to be able to talk to him without his big Earth outfit on. And he's just been doing so much work. So I'm so glad he could be a part of this and get his scholarship too.
And I'm thankful for that. And I'm honestly struggling to figure out what they want me to do here. Let me go.
Rick Buckley, do you have any suggestions for Lanny?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. If you can send me the link, I can play it. Just put it in the chat.
Okay, that may be the best thing. Just please click the button to share the sound, so that the sound quality is going to come through the program, and do that. So yeah, I'm putting it on chat. This is, let me go here and get the original one. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is Facebook.
I did share it to all of our campaign pages, Lanny. I don't know if you saw that, but I did.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. And
is it on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm sending you the link right now. I just had to get it. This is the first one, and okay, there it is. Panelists, that is the link to Love's Gonna Win on YouTube.
Okay.
So if you want to take that. Take that. And do something loving with it.
So
who's working on that?
Rick Buckley is working on that.
Oh, okay.
If you got the link, then it'll be happening shortly.
Okay.
I was going to say, I'm glad you started that ripple effect by putting that idea out there for the comics to come together for Climate Night.
It was the obvious strategic move from a member of Gore's climate reality leadership clan, but it was I think strategically in how we can reach the most people. And right now the folks who watch comedy at night are either moderate or liberals, and so they're I don't know that a former president fan would want to watch Colbert with what he says about the former president most of the time. So since most of them are there, I would think that most of them also have some basic understanding. What they need to know, the audience, is exactly where the situation is at in this moment with the atmosphere and the shifts that are going on. What's the new science that we're looking at? Because it's tough. It's very tough, and we need to pass this legislation and give Senator Manchin some cover in West Virginia by insisting that the coal miners and their families get justly treated during the transition and are taken care of, and the oil workers in this state of Texas. And then we build a coalition. There actually is an AFL-CIO, which is the union for oil workers. There is an organization that supports climate change legislation, and they're oil workers because they understand what's going to happen to their families. They just need to be lifted out of the fear of losing their jobs and having no money and being in poverty. So all is possible. Any luck on that, Rick B?
Yeah.
Yeah, the video's queued up if you guys are ready.
Right, whenever you are.
Do it.
Well, that's not it. That's not the one. That's not the one I sent you, is it? That's Love Can Build Anything. I wanted Love's Gonna Win, which is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 2 came through. So here's the second one. Let me put it up.
Thank you.
I think people are really impressed with how we prepared all of this for this session today.
It's on. There.
It was a time of struggle and pain within us, and the tears we cried changed us in many ways. Yet in those moments of deepest darkness, there was a light shining in the faith that everything's gonna be all right. Love's gonna win. Love's gonna win. No matter how hard, keep holding on and believe. When hope is alive, we're gonna be strong. Though mountains may fall, just know through it all, love's gonna win. Love's gonna win. Though mountains may fall, just know through it all, love's gonna win. Love's gonna win. Love's gonna win. Love's gonna win.
Beautiful, Lanny, and worth the wait.
Well, do I have time to share with you Coming Planet Earth? Are you listening?
Yeah, if you have it.
Yes, I have it. I just put the Rick B. I just put the link up there for the other one that I want to show. This song, I lived in Nashville for many years as a songwriter. And one day this young man came into my wife's bookstore and we started talking. And back in the early 1980s, everybody in Nashville was a songwriter. The postman, the garbage man, didn't matter. So we started talking, and he said that his ex-wife was an astronaut, and she was going up in the space shuttle, like in a few months. So, of course, I went, let's write a song about it, see if she'll take it with her. So we wrote this really beautiful song called Coming Planet Earth, Are You Listening? And it's the journey of a woman astronaut circling the Earth and describing what she's seeing. So we finished it, and then I went to a very famous producer by the name of Tommy West, who produced Jim Croce and a bunch of stuff. And he was working with a young lady who became a pretty big star in country music. And then, unfortunately, she passed away. Her name was Holly Dunn. And they took Holly and recorded it on her. And the astronaut, she took it up into the space shuttle, and which was really, really great. And then they didn't want to do anything more with it. And so a group formed, and we recut the song in 7 languages: French, German, Spanish, English, French, Russian, Chinese, and Japanese. It's probably more than 7, but and put a music video together and released it, and it has been seen really all over the world. This message, and over the years, I've updated the video with as newer footage as I could get from NASA over the years. Now, the story here goes: when I was in New Hampshire, I think it was just. Somebody, if you could turn your mics off, hearing something really loud.
Yeah, Tumani, if you can mute yourself, that would be good. Thanks.
So in the end of 1985, I was in New Hampshire visiting my sister, and I was fortunate to have a good 10-minute conversation with Krista McCullough, the first teacher in space. And she was going up in the space shuttle in about 4 weeks. And so I told her about the song and going up there, and I told her about the song, and she was really interested because she was going to teach a lesson from space. And what better way of teaching it is through a song. So she asked me to bring it by her house. She wasn't going to be home. She was at First Boston in the parade. So I said, sure. She lived in Concord, New Hampshire, about an hour and a half from where I was. So I drove over to her house, and I left the tape and a note with it, and then I kept eyes on the paper. And of course, right after New Year's, they went down to the Kennedy Space Center, and they got ready. And unfortunately, their shuttle was destroyed in an accident, and she perished. I do believe she had it with her, and that she was going to use it to share. So this message lays out the idea again that love is the only way we can survive. All right, Rick B., thank you.
Looking down, I can almost see Dad's farmhouse, and I can feel his proud eyes looking up at me. I'm 200 miles in space between the moon and my birthplace, amazed at where a country girl can be. Carolina slipping past my window, and the swirling clouds are forming out at sea. I'm beyond the atmosphere, a modern pioneer, humbled by the heavens around me. Come truth within our hearts. Love's the only way we can survive. There's snow upon the peaks of southern Russia, and over Lebanon the skies are clear. The whole world looks so clean, no borders can be seen. It all seems so peaceful from up here. Ooh, we just passed the coast of California. There's a storm brewing off of Mexico. I'm 200 miles in space, circling the human race, wondering, will we win or lose it all? Come in, planet Earth, are you listening? The world is just an island in the sky. If we can fly among the stars, we can find the truth within our hearts. Love's the only way we can survive. If we can fly among the stars, we can find the truth within our hearts. Love's the only way we can survive. Come in, planet Earth. Are you listening?
So
The,
according to studies,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
The back end,
Fabulous.
that back end of the story is that our group called the Earthman Project, we released the song on country radio later on in English, that version of it, and Tower Records and the video Tower Records, when they were still around, they were the record store with 50 televisions up. You walked into the store and on every television they were playing the video in the different languages, and the display for the cassettes, at the time cassettes and records, were right next to the Bruce Springsteen's new album. So I thought that was really great. Well, the song went up the charts, went up the Billboard charts, got to number 49, 48. And that was right when President Reagan and Muammar Gaddafi got into a thing, and we had jets starting to bomb, and the 100 country stations that report to Billboard kicked it off the air and said it wasn't time to be talking about peace when we might be going to war.
Wow.
But the 2,000 independent radio stations that went number one and stayed there for like 3 weeks. So, and it's still out there today. So thank you all. I wish you all peace, and I'm honored to be part of this, and however I can be of help, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. And since we have now decided we are going to have our 11 days after party, might as well announce it here on our session. It's going to be September 22nd, the day after the 11 days is over, and at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So just wanted to mention that, and Lanny will be one of the performers. I'm also going to tinkle on the piano ivories a little myself. So thank you all. I want to encourage you to find out about all of these 11 Days of Global Unity events, the panels that are being broadcast by Ubiquity University and Humanity Rising, and all of the events. You can find out, look at the schedule and sign up at we.net. And there's going to be a panel. Today's the day for disarmament, and we're going to have an incredible panel coming up very soon, less than an hour from now, 1 p.m. Eastern time, with Jonathan Granoff, the president of the Global Security Institute, and Alan Ware, who's one of the parliamentaries for nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament, and Jana, who is our interim coordinator for disarmament. So we're going to have that panel. We invite you to check that out and check out all of the recordings of all of these things. We have everything up there at we.net and connecting to Humanity Rising. So Jim, would you like to close us out for today's session?
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Jana, Mama Jana, and Larry, and
Lanny.
Lonnie.
Yes.
Very good to meet you, Lonnie. You know, and you're so right. It's the music of the spheres, the music of the heart, the way that we attune ourselves within ourselves that allows us to synthesize the chaos around the world with a commitment to peace and action that actually makes a difference. So I want to salute you and recognize you as the prime mover for the group of comedians coming together. They speak to millions of people. And so I just want to acknowledge and congratulate you for that act of kindness, because ultimately these random acts of kindness don't need an author in the public domain, because God knows, life knows, and we know. So thank you for that. And thank you, everyone. We'll meet same time, same station tomorrow for the 11th and final day of 11 days of global unity on the issue of international peace. That will be our grand finale. Thank you all. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thank you.